Okay, so today's lesson 4.6, solving inequalities using multiplication or division. It is exactly like solving equations using the highway, except for they're an inequality and not an equation. So, first thing, we're going to go through 4 or 5 problems here. Not a lot of practice. You get to practice in your homework. I'll also make a homework video and post it. Okay, so if you'll notice, is -4 less than 6? Sure it is. So if you multiply each side by the same thing, is -8 still less than 12? Sure it is. So you can multiply or divide by anything as long as it's a positive number and it remains true. Um, so if we were to solve this, x divided by 5 is less than or equal to -3. What you have to do is multiply both sides by 5. When you do that, you get a -15, and then you graph it. Pointing to the left, you want anything that's less than or equal to -15. So a shaded circle at 15, arrow going to the left. Okay, not too hard. Like I said, we're not going to go through all the examples. Um, Using division, same thing. Instead of multiplying x by 6, you're going to draw the highway and you're going to divide both sides by 6. Cancels the sixes. X is anything that is greater than -3, not equal to. So it's an open circle. Greater than or pointing to the right means we go to the right. So open circle at -3 pointing to the right. Okay. Now here's where it gets tricky. This is the one thing that's kind of new, and I've explained it briefly to every class yesterday. Is -4 less than 6? Yes, it is. But if you multiply each side by a negative, yes, the digits double. Okay, 4 went to 8, 6 went to 12, but the signs switched. Okay, so when the signs then switch, the bigger the digit, since the sign switched, now becomes a negative, or it became a negative, it happened to be. So you have to switch the inequality sign. Okay, 8 is not greater, or 8 is greater than -12. Sorry, they switched it up here. Okay. So when you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to take this original inequality, whatever it is, happen to be a less than, make it a greater than. If it happened to be a greater than, make it a less than. If you multiply or divide any side by a negative number. Now, where that gets kind of tricky, um, if we have -2 and we're going to say it's less than 10, okay, that's not if we multiply each side by 5. Multiply each side by 5. This new number that I'm multiplying it by is not a negative. So this 2 being a negative doesn't matter. -10 is still less than 50. Okay, it's only the number that you are taking to both sides, like the -2 in this instance, that you switch the inequality sign. If the original number was a negative, leave it alone, stays a negative. Okay. So -3 has n. In order to cancel the -3 over 2, you're going to flip and multiply by 2/3. That way, the 2's, the 3's, the negatives even, they all cancel. So n is, now you multiplied by a negative, so you have to flip the inequality. Instead of greater than, sorry, it's up top. Instead of less than, it became greater than. They flipped it in this step right here. So n is greater than or equal to -4. Then you graph it. Closed circle, pointing to the right. Okay. Okay, last one that we're going to go through here real quick, the modeling real life problem. Submersible descends 37.5 meters per minute from sea level to explore a recent shipwreck. The shipwreck rests on the ocean floor at an elevation deeper than -310 meters, the elevation of the Titanic shipwreck. How long does it take the submersible to reach the shipwreck? Okay, so it descends, it drops 37.5 meters. Okay, that will be our first number here. Once it gets there, there it is. We're dropping 37.5 meters per minute. For how many minutes? We don't know. And we want to know, when will it be deeper than the elevation of the Titanic? Okay. So if you read right here real carefully, the shipwreck rests on the ocean floor at an elevation deeper than -300, 3,810 meters. That's why we're at a less than inequality. So simplify it, bring it over here, divide by a negative, flips the inequality from a less than to a greater than. So your time will be more than 101.6 minutes. Okay. So what I want you to do now, work on your homework. Okay. I'll have some homework help videos as well for some of the harder problems for you guys to work on. So thank you guys. Make sure that you behave. Do not get your name written down from the sub, whoever it happens to be. Thanks. See ya.